Hey, this is Jamey from Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in Cosmic Frog, World Eaters from Dimension Zero. And this actually ties into the first thing I want to mention about this game. There are two things I want to talk about today. One is the wackiness of this theme. It seems that the designer of this game went deep into a very odd theme. You're playing mile high, I think it's like 2.5 mile high frogs that are eating pieces of this dimension while floating out in outer space, sometimes fighting each other, sometimes just eating land and digesting it in their stomachs. Digestion is actually a big part of this game. And I have to say that the wackiness of the theme really added to the experience, especially for me as an intrinsically motivated player. They kind of established this lore for the game and this weird, wacky theme, and it led to a lot of fun table talk and a lot of fun decisions based on this theme. I'm trying to think of a specific example of this, but it was just really we were just fully enamored by this weird theme when we played. And I thought that really added to the experience. That aside, my favorite mechanism in the game is very specific. It's a very small mechanism that plays actually a pretty big part in this game, especially this game being a game with fairly direct interaction between players, which we didn't do a lot of in our first game. It was a 5-player game. We didn't interact with each other a lot, but the potential for interaction was there. And that is the turn order deck. So you have this big deck of cards, and depending on the player count and which players are actually in the game, you seed the deck with a bunch of different cards. So I played the red player. So I have, in a 5-player game, I believe I had 4 red cards in this deck. And this is simply a deck to determine whose turn it is right now. And so at the beginning of the game, you shuffle this deck, and you might shuffle the deck over the course of the game a couple times. You even put some other cards into the deck. And on any given turn, you reveal the card, and you say, okay, it is the purple player's turn. That player takes their turn. And then you reveal another card. It's the blue player's turn. And another card, green player's turn. Here we come out. Here we go. So cards can come out spaced out. It's completely random, but they can be spaced out. Or, in this case, the green player got 2 back-to-back turns, which is pretty cool too. So this turn order deck adds a really fun element to this game. Specifically in that, like, you don't know when your next turn will be. You take a turn, and then it might be that you get another turn right away, and that might have a big impact on what you do, the actions that you take, the land that you can choose to consume. If you choose to land on another player and try to steal some of the terrain tiles that they haven't yet fully digested, those decision points are unknown based on whether or not you get to take the next turn or how long your next turn will be. And so sometimes in the game, you might take a few turns early in a round, and then you might be sitting around for a while to take your last turn. Sometimes you might take all of your turns early in the round, and you'll be sitting around, and you're still participating in the game. I think the wacky theme helps with that. Also, the other interactions in the game help with that. You're still kind of participating. And sometimes you won't take any early turns, and you'll get close to the bottom of this deck, and you know that, like, most of these cards are your cards. And so you know that you're going to have a bunch of turns back to back to back. And that can feel really powerful too. So there's different levels of feeling powerful. Having a bunch of turns early in a row, having a bunch of turns late, having your turns spread out, that can be good too. But I really like the uncertainty this adds. And the closest I've seen to it is Aeon, I'm forgetting the legacy game, or the deck building game. Aeon, it's not Aeon Flux, it's a game with Aeon in it. And they have a turn order deck that's a little bit like this, but a lot slimmer than this. It's really neat that you don't know exactly when your next turn will be. And that leads to some healthy uncertainty about what you do on your turn. Where do you position yourself so that you can last a while if you don't get a turn for a while, or so that you can take advantage if you get another turn right away. It's a really neat turn order mechanism. I really enjoyed it. I would love to see it built into other games where there is direct player interaction, where you can even add cards to the deck that change things up a little bit. So instead of having like just a standard, hey, take a red turn, maybe I put a card in this deck that says, maybe I replace this card with another card that says, I take a turn and then gain a bonus. And so I could essentially be upgrading this common action deck while I'm playing the game. And maybe some expansions of Cosmic Frog have something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I really enjoyed this turn order mechanism. And if you're contemplating weird or different turn order mechanisms in your game, this is, I think, is one to consider. I really enjoyed it. So that is my favorite mechanism in the wacky game Cosmic Frog, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks.